Hey, Coach Mo. How are you doing today?
Hey Ahmed, how are you?
Good, good, good. Seems you're outside
You can
today.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. I've sent you a message because I wanted to attend and listen, and at the same time there's something in the background, so I don't want the
Mm.
sounds of the kids to be interfering with.
No worries, no worries. Cool, cool, cool. No worries. And I highly recommend that maybe you connect with Lama afterwards. I think both of you can discuss maybe further cooperation too.
Sure, sure. I mean, like this call is a nice opportunity to switch from the talking mode to the listening mode. So
Yeah. Yeah, so Lama Coach Mo is he's my friend. He's Mahmoud Abu Nil. He's located in Mississauga, and he sometimes come and also help with this community, and sometimes we do collaborate in some sessions too. So it would be great for you to connect with him also offline.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, for sure. I'm in Oakville, so we're very close by.
Awesome.
sure. Thank you so much, Lama. Thanks for being here.
Hey Bianca, thanks for joining.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you all?
Good, good, good. Where are you calling from, Bianca?
I'm actually in Virginia. I'm in
Oh.
the DC metro.
Oh, nice, nice. How was the weather in Virginia today?
It's a little
Cold?
rainy.
Rainy? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's normal.
But it's still nice. It's nice.
Nice, cool, cool, cool.
Where are you all?
I'm in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. So I'm
Okay.
Eastern time zone, and it's okay. Like it's sunny, a little bit chilly, but it's very nice weather today.
Oh, nice.
Cool, cool,
Nice
awesome.
fall weather.
Thanks for joining us today. Hope you will enjoy this call by Lama.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Cool. We'll give it maybe another 2 more minutes, and then I'll give a quick intro, and then hand it over to you, Lama, to kick us off.
It's good.
And if you guys can share your LinkedIn profile in the chat, that will help you grow your network and also connect with other folks who shared their profiles. Exciting. Thanks, Sheikh Azhar. Okay, some folks are still joining, so we'll give it another minute and then we'll get started. Awesome. I think let's kick it off. Let me just start the recording and we can get going. Awesome. Good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. Glad to have you join us today. This is our future career community where we help people land jobs in 3 months or less. And this community has been growing since the past 5 years almost. And we are, doing this call regularly every Sunday, 11 a.m. with the same link. So if you join us before, glad to have you back. And if this is the first time, please keep joining us every Sunday, the same time, the same link. And we always have great speakers joining and helping this community Today, I'm very blessed to have Lama Yunus. She's an HR professional expert, and I'll let her definitely introduce herself better because I know a little bit about her that I think I don't want to give her I'm not going to give her enough credit for what she's done before, so I want her to share her own introduction. Lama has been a professional HR with GE before, and she built her own brand. She delivered tons of HR transformational programs across multiple countries and continents, and she's today gonna focus on the topic of branding, which is again a very important topic for everyone who's looking to either keep their job or get to a new job today. Lama, we're very excited to have you today. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, and welcome everybody. Happy Sunday. My name is Lama. I am with you here from Oakville in Ontario, and I'm just very excited to be here with the Future Career community because personal branding is one of my favorite things actually to talk about. So, but let's jump right in, and I will introduce myself a little bit further so you're familiar with my background. I'm a leadership coach. I have more than 17 years in corporate HR at Fortune 100 companies, and I'm combining that along with some powerful coaching tools to give clients a unique experience in accelerating their career. And like I mentioned, that personal branding, along with things like resumes and things, people usually call me the HR geek. Those are the things that I'm actually excited about. And let me know in the chat where you're logging in from. I like to know where everybody's coming in here from today, whether you're in different places across Canada or if you're joining us remotely elsewhere. So if you're active on LinkedIn, and I really hope that you are, and would like to see frequent tips on how to improve your career, and just go ahead and take out your phone here and scan the code right here on the screen to follow me. Today, I'm going to walk you guys through the importance of building a personal brand, and I'd love to answer your questions near the end, so don't hesitate to drop them in the chat as they come up if you'd like to keep track of your questions. All right, let's talk about personal and leadership brand. First, we'll walk through what that actually means, and then more importantly, why it's so critical to your career in general and to your career growth specifically. And finally, how can you use it to actually accelerate your career if you're already in a job? So let's start with an example. So we all know these two here on the screen, Oprah on the left and Steve Jobs on the right. What pops into your mind when you see the faces? And I want to hear your answers in the chat. Let's see what you're thinking as soon as you see those two faces. What are some of the words that pop into your mind? Go ahead and drop those in the chat. They're popular enough, I think, that all of us know them, but what do they make you think of when you hear their name or you see their face? Apple for jobs. Okay. Successful leaders. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to think much for some of these words to already start popping into your head, right? For Oprah, when you hear her name, you're probably thinking words like inspirational leader and influencer, yeah? And some of you said already here, successful leaders. For Steve Jobs, what did you probably think? A lot of you are saying, yeah, computers, innovation, jobs. He's kind of he's very well known, or was very well known for, focusing, making things happen, taking no bullshit here, and really bringing things to life. So those words that immediately popped into your mind, those are their brand. They are the reputation that these two folks have developed for themselves. Let's do a little game here of this or that. So think through here for each one of these lines. Are you being purposeful with your actions or on automatic pilot? Are you making a lasting impression? Or are you blending in? Do you feel like you have a presence? Do people notice when you walk in the room? Or do they just kind of think, oh, who was that? Are you in constant renewal? Are you constantly learning and upgrading your, your knowledge and expertise? Are you staying stagnant? There's a few more examples here. If you've answered yes to any in this left column over here, you're working intentionally on your brand. And if you've answered yes to any of on this side, then you'll want to take a closer look to really take control over your brand. This is a quote by a personal branding expert. She says, everyone has a personal brand by design or by default. So you can choose it for yourself or it will be chosen for you. You'll just have to make the choice of, do I want to make it? Do I want to put it out myself? I want to decide what it is, or do I want to just let people decide in their head what my personal brand is for me? So here are the short answers to those questions we asked at the beginning. The definition, what is your personal brand? It's what you're known for. It's basically what your peers, coworkers, leaders, clients, and customers think as soon as your name comes up or as soon as they see you. And this is all, again, it may not be, totally conscious, but it does happen in the back of your mind, in the back of people's mind when they see you or when they hear about you. So why is your personal brand so critical for your career? Well, very simply put, because it's essentially your reputation, okay? It's going to be the first thing someone replies with when they get asked, hey, do you know Faris? What do you think of him? What do you know about him? If you haven't clearly defined your personal brand and are living it out every day, then the answer to that question might be something very vague, like, I think he works in IT, or yeah, he's one of those project guys. Or even worse, it could be something someone else decides to make up about you based on their perspective. You should care about it because prospective employers and collaborators do look you up online. They do, whether you think they do or not. You want to take charge of your message, develop a clear vision of who you are, what you stand for, and how you add value. That's what boosts your credibility and authority in your field. So when you define your personal brand and live it intentionally, everyone starts to recognize you for your strength. For example, maybe you're known as the go-to problem solver. Maybe you're the healthcare expert that people know. Or you're the cybersecurity expert, for example. Yeah, they'll say maybe she's the one we always pull in when we need to make our data protection airtight. Or maybe you're a bridge builder, the one who takes tech jargon into plain English so business teams finally understand what's happening and feel supported by you. When you've built your brand on purpose, people know exactly what to expect from you. You become known as that trusted expert, the one who delivers and who simplifies and makes things work. So let's take a full example here. Mila is a senior IT manager in a large global organization. She's positioning herself for a future director of technology role, one that oversees multiple teams and complex digital transformations. So over the past few years, Mila has been very intentional about how she leads and how she shows up. She's built a strong reputation for leading technical teams through high pressure transitions, like migrating legacy system to the cloud and integrating new automation tools. But more importantly, she's known for how she does it. Her team members say that she listens deeply, explains complex ideas clearly, and genuinely invests in their growth. So she's the kind of leader who stays calm when things break and helps others see the opportunity in every challenge, because she decided this is what her description is going to be, what her brand is going to be, and she lives by it every day from there. Because of that, other developers and analysts often ask to join her team. Her retention rates are high, her projects deliver on time, and her teams consistently score among the highest in engagement, all because she decided intentionally what her brand is going to be, what she's going to be known by, and kept working on it every day to make it a reality. So what do you think happens the next time a director of technology role opens up in her division? There are two possibilities. Either Mila applies and the hiring leaders are thrilled to see her name come through, or she doesn't even have to. She gets tapped on the shoulder because she's known as the calm, strategic, people-centered IT leader who can drive transformation and bring teams along with her. And the same principle applies externally. If Mila positions herself, her brand intentionally On LinkedIn, for example, in industry forums or in networking conversations, she can create the same pull. So when people think we need someone who can lead digital transformation and build engaged teams, her name will come to their mind automatically. That's the power of a clear and authentic personal brand. You may not even need to look for a job again. People will always be thinking about you and knowing your reputation very clearly, that it will come to their mind when an opportunity comes up. Okay, so now you might be asking, how do I do that intentional bit, Llama? Here are the few practical applications to get that started for you. You're going to want to grab your pen and paper to jot some notes in this part. So answer these questions for yourself to establish your brand words. We're going to start with just creating brand words for you. Number one, what am I passionate about? Number two, what do I value? Number three, what am I good at? Number four, what gives me credibility? Number five, what makes me unique? And number six, what are my personal brand goals? What do I want to achieve with this? If you find yourself a little bit stuck on any of those questions, ask some people around you that you trust. Ask some of your colleagues, your peers, your family members, your friends. They can help you kind of get the ball rolling with some of these questions if you feel stuck. And now, after you've answered those for yourself, then you'll want to craft your brand story, okay? So in order to go from the words to the actual story that you're building, start with these questions over here. Who are you? What have you overcome? What's your current mission? And what makes you credible? So again, they might seem like very obvious and simple questions, but you really need to think very deeply about them in the context that we're speaking of here, to be able to come up with those right, impactful answers, not just the right answers, but impactful answers that will help others see you clearly. So let's see all of this in action. I've been speaking to you guys for about 15 minutes now, so you'll know a little bit about me already, but let me tell you my brand story. Observe what you'll pick up from it when I say it out loud. So hi there, my name is Llama. I'm a leadership coach. My professional mission is to empower individuals to feel safe, bringing their whole self to the workplace and delivering their best work. I left my corporate HR job a few years ago to pursue coaching full-time so I can really multiply the direct impact to helping professionals accelerate their careers. My HR experience in Fortune 100 companies combined with my coaching certification gives my clients the best of an insider look from the organizational side, along with an advocate focusing purely on them and their goal. So what do you take away from this very intentional message? Let's break it down. So at the beginning, we answered here, who are you? I answered, my name is Llama. I'm a leadership coach. It tells you who I am and what I do at a glance. You already know it immediately, very quickly. In that second part, my professional mission is to empower individuals to feel safe, bringing their whole self to work. That shows you exactly what I'm striving for and what I'm passionate about achieving. When I go into telling you a little bit about leaving my corporate HR job a few years ago so I can go into coaching full-time, that shows you what I overcame and the action I took, not just talk, but the action that I took to chase my passion. And finally, that last part, my HR experience in Fortune 100 companies combined with my coaching certification gives my clients the best insider look. That's showing you how I've acquired and demonstrated the skills that I'm telling you that I have. So I'm not just taking my word for it. I'm backing it up also with my experience and background. You know where all of this has come from. So now you won't go around telling your story in those words exactly in that order, but you have to know your brand story inside and out in order to be able to kind of weave it into different kinds of conversations you have, whether that's with your current coworkers or leaders around you that you already know and do know, now at the moment, or whether it's in any networking situations you may come across, right? If you have to think about the statement or the story on the spot when someone just asks you now, it's already too late. You're not presenting the most clear version of it. Okay, so you have to be super comfortable with it's, we call it your elevator pitch. It'll do you tons of good in those situations where your leaders are in meetings with you and you have to speak up on the spot. Again, on the spot, you never know when that's going to come up, but it's going to be too late if you're already being asked and you're going to start thinking about it at that moment. It'll make you come across as confident and that you know exactly what you're talking about and what you're doing. And so very often I'm known as the career lady that helps with like leadership and career stuff. That's not as clear as I want it to be, but at least I know I pop into people's minds when anything related to careers comes up and they'll come talk to me about it. So what are some practical actions you can take away with you? Take out those pens and notebooks again. You'll want to jot these down. Number 1, develop a strong professional social media presence. Even if you're, at the beginning, just reposting with your thoughts for a while until you have your own topics and ideas of posts to create for yourself. This keeps you top of mind with people. Visibility is very important. They need to be seeing your name over and over again and seeing the pattern of what you usually, what are the kinds of topics that you usually post about? Where are you being a thought leader in general? Number 2, take full advantage of those about sections in your LinkedIn profile and other social media channels. That's your opportunity here without having to say it directly. But when people start getting a little bit curious about you and they're looking at your profile without you knowing, it's going to be too late to try to be like, oh, someone already saw my profile. I better do my about section very well. You have to do it now before they even get there. Number 3, join industry and profession-specific groups and try to participate actively in them, which, congratulations, you're all already doing this today. So good job on that. And the one more important than all of those is to be consistent. Without that, all those other actions won't matter. You need to be doing this over and over again in the same way consistently. All right, as we start wrapping up here, I have 3 bonus tips for you on how to keep yourself growing and your personal brand. Let's take a look at them. Number 1, network as much as you can. Networking, while you don't need anything in particular, is a great way to build up your relationships with people in a relaxed way. You'll notice that you are more likely to be a little bit more nervous when you're going into networking conversations because you do want to ask about something. It changes your mindset as you're going in there. But if you go in there knowing that you don't need anything from anyone in particular, it'll just help you be relaxed and actually have good conversations with people and actually listen to people too. Networking conversations are not just for you to go get something from someone, it's also for you to be able to give back. Number 2, communicate clearly. I know that was mentioned earlier, but it is extremely important. Okay, the market is competitive out there, and knowing how to stand out will be more important than ever. Okay, if you're thinking, isn't this a bit much, Lama? I don't have time to do all of this. That's what 95% of people are thinking too. Okay, the ones who do take this time and extra steps to invest in themselves are the ones who do stand out. This is what is going to make you stand out. It's that extra bit that you're going to do. And finally, number 3 here, understand very well what it is you bring to the table. Okay, having a high level of self-awareness and what your unique combination of skills plus your personal brand will increase your chances of offering something no one else is doing. Very, very important to be super clear for yourself, not just to wait until the moment that question comes up to actually start thinking now. Well, I know in my head what I do well, but if you're starting to articulate it and bring it together when someone asks you, it is again already too late. You've missed an opportunity to say something clearly and confidently in the moment that you can do it. All right, everybody, quick recap here. I wanted to keep it light for us on this very beautiful Sunday. Your brand is your reputation. Be intentional about it and guard it. Don't let others decide it for you. They will do it either way. You might as well take control of it over yourself. Employment trends will go up and down, so make sure you focus on the part where you have control over it. the employment trends and the economy and all these things. You do not have control over that. It's no sense in trying to, being mad about it or having emotions about it. Just focus on the part that you do have control over, which is your brand. It will help you stay in demand if you do it right. And finally, if you want to see more of these types of tips and tricks and mindset thoughts, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm not as frequent on Instagram, but I am available on Instagram too. But on LinkedIn, you can also download my free career workbook. Very happy to support you also through LinkedIn. All right, everybody, that was my wrap up. I'm going to actually keep this slide on while we are taking questions. Or thoughts, any insights anybody wants to share? Any additional tips that may have worked for you in the past that you think are missing or others might be benefit from them?
I think we have oh, Bianca's just putting her LinkedIn. Thank you, Bianca. Okay, cool.
Bianca.
Great discussion, Lama, and thank you so much for sharing those 3 tips. And applying them is definitely the hardest part of it. We can definitely learn a lot about branding, but executing is one of the toughest thing. What do you think would be the biggest step for someone who's really shy, introvert, or not very open to being in public, asking strangers, those kind of things? What would you feel like, the easy steps for someone like that?
Well, I would actually answer that from my real life experience. I am very much an introvert. Yes, I can present and everything because of my experience, but I am very much an introvert. I mean, when I go to networking conversations still until now, I sometimes feel myself tense up. What helps the most, I find, Ahmed, is again, focusing on what you know. So that's number one, right? If you have your, your personal brand statement, your story, what you offer, and you're very clear about them, it'll make it easier for you to be able to speak because you're already nervous about other people being around you, right? So you might as well focus on the thing that you know very well. And number 2, this is also equally important, especially in networking conversations, is come with a few questions for people. Be genuinely curious about other people. People love talking about themselves. Right. So if you just start by asking someone a few questions about themselves, tell me about what you do. What do you love working in? Just have a couple of those questions handy and you'll find the person just doing all the speaking for you. Right. And it'll open that conversation. It'll let people's guard down. It'll make the conversation a little bit easier for you to flow with.
Yeah, no, that's a great wisdom. And I from what I know, I start to speak about myself first, so that people start to reduce their guards and speak about what I know, what I do, where I traveled, maybe, something that would make it easy for them to connect and be able to understand more about me. And then I can ask, very generic questions that does not, make it difficult for them to answer. Sometimes when we ask questions, it sometimes become awkward at the beginning. If we're not sure what to ask, this could be a pressure and a stress by itself. So I try to again speak about weather, speak about things that are very generic, doesn't involve any personal information at the beginning.
As long as it lets people kind of put their guard down, just if you happen to run into another introvert who's also a bit tense, you want to have those questions handy with you so that you can soften the environment for both of you. Yeah.
Amazing.
Or find yourself an extrovert. They're very obvious too when you go into conversations.
Amazing. We want to give you guys a chance to ask questions. So if you want to unmute, ask your question, or type it in the chat. This is your chance. Lama is here to help you build your brand. So if you have a specific branding questions, definitely she will be happy to answer. And if you don't have the courage enough to ask questions, maybe we'll ask you questions. Bianca, I see you have the courage. Go ahead.
I'll unmute myself for a second. So for us speak for myself specifically, as I'm like working on creating that brand and really expressing what that is, I've had to learn what it is, right? But also how to deliver it. So as someone coming with a more like policy background, but also dibbling and dabbling into like management consulting and it kind of opening up more, I have this concern about kind of pigeonholing myself into one area. So how could I work on my delivery so that I can also expand to different industries rather than just government or political or even just, nonprofit organizations?
A great question. That's a great question. I find, Bianca, if you take it kind of one level higher than just talking about your jobs, which means you getting into your passion, why you do what you do, that keeps it open enough, but it's still specific that it applies to the work itself, right? So let me actually go back to you here in a couple of slides here. If you see here, so if I only just talked about this part for you, you wouldn't necessarily know that I'm specifically in HR if I haven't already said it, or that I'm in coaching specifically, because all I've said here is my professional mission is to empower individuals to feel safe bringing their whole self to the workplace and deliver their best work. None of this actually says specifically HR or specifically coaching, but it is the reason why I do my HR consulting and my coaching. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of going just a level higher to say what is my passion within my work, and why do I do what I do? What am I trying to deliver with it? And then that way it actually takes the industry or the specifics of the job or job titles out of it.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
That was a great question.
Awesome. I think there is another question on LinkedIn from Sitali. I find that sometimes it's hard to choose where to focus, how to start building the unique, authentic brand. What would you give an advice to someone who's finding this difficult at the beginning?
There's two things that come to my mind. The first one is, and probably the easiest, other people outside of you tend to see those kinds of things about you a little bit more clearly than you see, because you're thinking it inside your head and it's just in a jumble of everything else that you know in your head. But other people are seeing very specific things about you. So going out, again, I kind of mentioned this a little bit. Ask some people that you trust around you, your coworker, make it like a mix of people. Maybe my coworkers, maybe people who are a few levels below me, people who are a few levels above me. Bring in some friends into the conversation. Just get it kind of a mix of people, see what is common that all of them say. That'll help you start zeroing in. So that's one easy way you can do it fairly quickly to start there. The second is, if you've ever done in your workplace any types of assessment, if you've ever done a DISC assessment or a working genius by behavior, any of these types of self-assessments, they usually also give you a very good place to start. I love these kinds of assessment, but find that they're very quickly dismissed. Like after a training, you look through the report, you see it once and you put it away and you never bring it back up. Those should be a working document for you. They should stay on your desk so that you can refer back to them and kind of say, where is this telling me that my strengths are? And you will already know it, right? If there's things in those reports when you're reading them that probably already make sense in your head. You knew these things already about yourself, but they articulate it for you in a very specific way. When we process things in our brain, things that we're thinking about internally, they are different from the place that we process when we are reading something or we're hearing something. So this is all like psychology of the brain, how the brain actually works. So when you're reading something in a report about yourself, even though you knew it in that processing mind, it's going to another place to process and articulate, become a little bit more crystal clear for you. So use those assessments, do those kinds of things. Work with a coach. I do this with people all the time, where we put an assessment together for them, and we go into the coaching about how do you start articulating yourself a little bit more clearly, even though you know all these things about yourself too, but to know them is something and to articulate them clearly is something else.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So how do we test our brand? How do we know that, we're doing a good service for our brand, or are we doing bad service for our brand? What would be maybe our QA, if you will, or, performance indications here?
It's a very good question. I actually haven't thought of it in that way before. But the most obvious thing again that comes to my mind is you consistently do it for at least a good 6, 9, maybe 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of start going back and asking people. You will find people pinging you. When I started becoming more active on LinkedIn a few years ago, even people that I didn't know were just pinging me to ask about career things, and I didn't even know them. So that means that it got through to them, right? They started understanding that this is where actually consistency will help you out.
Yeah.
Being consistent about it, about what you're saying out there and doing it over and over and over again. So again, and I want to encourage all of you to keep in mind that these things are not just, they're not kind of going from A to B directly. It does take a little bit of time, and it might feel like it's one step forward, 2 steps back. But you got to keep doing it over and over and over again until you see it trending upwards. When people start asking you about things automatically from the whatever is your brand, that's when you'll know it's working.
Amazing. No, this is a very good insight. I guess it helps a lot with, knowing if I'm doing good service or not. Like if someone is reaching out to me to the area that I want to be branded for, then definitely my brand is working.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? When you said also, if people on here like metrics and data and stuff, you can use the metrics on LinkedIn that show you how many searches you show up in. If you find that number starts going up, that means people are searching for the things that are in your profile and they're finding you. Okay, so those could be, again, specific words. They could be coaching, consulting, whatever it is. But if you find that number going up when you do a revamp on your LinkedIn profile, for example, that means that people are finding you for the right things that are already on your profile. If that number is consistently low, then you're not getting the message across correctly, or you're not putting the right things maybe on your profile, or you might not be saying the right things that need to be articulated a little bit better. So that could be a way if people want to see like metrics and numbers.
Yeah, I love that too. This is definitely helping as well. And again, I guess from what I'm also learning, finding people who you want to be like as a brand, maybe that would help you position yourself so that you don't reinvent the wheel. You learn from those people who branded themselves already. You definitely don't want to be a copy of them, but you want to learn what they do in order for them to grow their brand and try something similar.
That's a great idea. I always say in these kinds of things, everything has probably already been done or thought of. You may not be thinking of something like groundbreaking or a breakthrough, but it doesn't mean you can't put your own unique combination to it. So absolutely go and look at other people who already kind of made it in the area that you're at and see what you can borrow from them. Make it your own though, right? You're not, copy pasting, but you're kind of making it with your own voice, with your own touch.
Amazing. Bianca, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yes. I wanted to, since we brought up speaking with your own voice, and I know we're talking about brands and more so presence and social media presence for networking, but when it comes to actually submitting your resume for positions, or I guess more like cold applications, is there a way that we can still submit with our voice, even though we have things like ATS optimization and different ways of evaluation now? Is that something that's still translating, or has that changed at all?
Oh, for sure. It still needs to translate because, so yes, you may have to go through ATS to get to a short list of some sort, but at some point you're going to be in front of a human, right? Your resume is going to get to a person that's actually going to read, but they're also going to have 50 others to read with it. right? So using things like my profile summary or my professional summary, right, at the top of it, that should, and I know a lot of people like to use AI now for those kinds of things, but please be careful with it. Use it. I'm not saying don't. It's here and it will continue being here, but use it to create kind of a base for you, and then you build on it with your own voice, with your own touch on it. So yeah, you got to find just those little places here and there, Bianca, where you can add that. And again, in your LinkedIn profile, it's your about section. Mm-hmm. You can play around with those kinds of things. That should be something that sounds just like you and nobody else out there.
Thank you.
Lama, if you don't mind, can you stop sharing your screen so that we just focus on the folks who are talking here? Sheikh Izhar, I see you have your hand raised. Go ahead, unmute and ask your question. Just again, give a quick intro, your name, role, location, and your question, please.
Sure. Good morning. This is Sheikh Izhar from Saskatoon, Canada. I moved recently here to Canada. Like by recently, I mean 7-8 months before, as an immigrant, and So my profession is basically related to data analytics, data warehousing, SaaS, system implementation, SAP S/4HANA data migration. So I've done a lot of work in Saudi market and in Pakistan market about data processing, building data analytics, providing dashboards, reports. So yeah, and my question here is like, as I'm struggling, I'll just every individual take their case and they want to see how they can improve themselves in order to succeed and ladder up. So my question here is like someone who is new into this market, how to ensure that their resume, yes, I do understand the value of branding, definitely. But how, at the same time, how to ensure that resume being passed through the HR? Because what I have personally noticed, except one or two, I'm not getting any phone calls, and I know, sometimes individuals know that, where they lack and where they are doing well as well. So yes, there was few things I acknowledge was missing in first few months in my resume. Based on the US and Canadian market, I had to change it, which I did through consulting with some seniors and some government agencies as well. I've gone through the sessions with them and I've refined it as well. Despite that, still being unlucky, I would say, or unfortunate that, yes, not getting any phone calls. So I'm not sure like how to go. And I've tried myself even to call to the companies, visiting their offices as well. I'm not talking about small groceries or thing, but the place where I live, I tried to visit Kameko, BHP, and the front desk people will say that you just go and apply there, and if anything, they will call you like this. Sure. So what like the people who are going through this phase, what should they do then?
Yeah. Okay, great question. And it's actually something I'm going to tell you that I don't think it applies specifically only to Canada, but I have worked in the Middle East too. This is actually just an employee-employer kind of thing. If you've already tailored your resume to look like we want it here, which you're right, it is a little bit slightly different from what it would look like in the Middle East or other places in the world. But one thing that anybody and everybody will want to see, Sheikh, is to be speaking in the hiring manager's language. So often when we write our resumes, we make them to be about us and what we think the best things we've done throughout our career. And you're right, your resume is about you, but your resume needs to show the hiring manager what they can get from you. Okay, so when you're, I'm talking about specifically things like the bullet points that you would have under your each role that you played. So instead of it just being what was the biggest project that I accomplished or was thing, I want you to actually think, what does a hiring manager need from the person in this job? and be putting them that way. And also the order that you have in there. If you have like 9 bullets in there, you need to make sure that the first 2 or 3, because recruiters, the ATS systems, all of these kinds of things, they're not reading through the entire everything. They're at least just, you got to capture their attention within the first 2 bullet points of whichever of the roles that they're looking at. They never really read the full thing in detail until you're at later stages, right? So I want you to think a little bit more, kind of going back into your resume and just think a little bit more, what do the hiring managers in those positions want? If you don't know what that is, Sheikh, that's what you go to the networking conversations for. Find these hiring managers or people with similar titles on LinkedIn and have a conversation with them. Hey, I just want to pick your brain about a few things. Can I ask you a few questions? What are the kinds of things that you're looking for in the person that you're going to hire for this job? If you've ever been a hiring manager, you would know exactly what I mean, right? When you're hiring someone, you're thinking, what is that person going to take off my plate? And so that my results as the team can be the most successful, okay? And you're not thinking about what does that person look like or how many years of, well, sometimes some people do, but specifically how many years of experience or whatever. You're thinking about what are they going to accomplish for me and how are we going to be successful as a team there. Does that make sense, Sheikh?
Yeah, I agree with it, and I see that whatever the job responsibilities have been published as a post by the employer in a chronological order, like whatever they have mentioned in the sequence.
Sure.
So logically, the candidate should answer or should build the resume based on that. If something has been put up first, so we'll do that, and so it's. I got your point. So it means we have to then overlook the sequence what they have put.
I wouldn't say overlook, but I'm also going to, I might be bursting people's bubbles here, but knowing from the inside of HR, the job descriptions are not necessarily, they're put in a way where we just need to get something posted out there. They may not be the most accurate. So you can't use just the job description to be the guiding post. Okay. It needs to be the job description plus, if you know anybody else in the company, go and talk to them and say, what is it usually like? What does this company value? What are the kinds of things that are important for this? And you have to be speaking that language versus the kind of the bullet points that are in job descriptions. Because again, I promise you, some managers, I know this doesn't sound great, but some managers are just putting job descriptions pretty quickly, right? They may not even be thinking of the full entire thing. This is not discrediting job descriptions. They are great, but they're not the whole.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can add, Sheikh, here, again, the world has changed a lot. Like the system that is put in place to apply for jobs is the system, but networking is one of the biggest reasons people land jobs today. Like if you do a very good job in networking and speak to people, they will recommend you. They know who you are. They know what you bring. That's more powerful than any resume, any LinkedIn profile. Like if people know you personally and they they cheer for you while you're not there and they say your name, that's much more stronger than any resume. So you definitely need to think about it from that angle too, because applying online is not enough today. Like 20% of jobs are only advertised, 80% are hidden. So if you really want to tap into the hidden market, you need to network.
Yeah. And even beyond that, after you get the job, to continue doing that. Because if you do continue doing that and you're successful at it, you're never going to have to apply for a job again.
Yes.
People are just going to be pulling you in. They're going to remember your name every time, something like that comes up. That's why it's important also to have, variety of people in your network. But you're going to be called on. You're not going to have to apply for jobs again.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Good questions.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions, anyone? Again, this call is for you guys to ask questions and, share wisdom. This is how we grow. This is how we, land jobs fast. Again, so many people who joined our call before, they didn't know what they didn't know. And again, this is the beauty of this call, that you learn from others, challenges, you learn from other reflections, and you get to know yourself better. You get to know the market. you get to adjust. That's how we grow as a community. So I'll pause here, see if anyone has any question. Anyone on the chat? I think someone, Samer. Okay, I think you shared question. Can you share? Oh,
yeah.
If you can share your LinkedIn profile. And thanks, Samer. Looking forward to having you back. Welcome back to this. Samer is another panel. He used to join this calls earlier, and he's now going through a different journey.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm always honored to be with you in this initiative to support the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samer. Awesome. Okay, so I don't see more questions, so I'll keep asking, what is your biggest challenge right now in terms of branding? I want to ask you guys this question and let us know, what is your biggest challenge? What's blocking you from branding yourself? If you don't know what you don't know, that's the chance for you to know.
I can go first.
Yeah, please go ahead, Bianca. Go for it.
So I want to go back to what you said earlier, Lama, when we were talking about when I was mentioning I didn't want to pigeonhole myself, but I still wanted to expand a bit more. But I like the kind of policy initiatives that I've worked on and a lot of the analytical work. I think the major concern that I have is basically moving up to a more managerial role or people leadership role. And maybe this may be like a breaking out of the actual early professional stage of my career, but is there a way that, and I guess this kind of goes back to the whole networking thing, because if you're talking to the right person and you talk to the right person, then they'll be able to direct you in the proper way or through the proper channels. But I just wonder, I don't want it to be portrayed as it's a fear, okay, she doesn't want to lead. She doesn't want to lead people. I don't have a problem with that, but it goes back to the whole working for the right company and working with the right people. So is that a delivery? Is that more of a delivery problem, or is that a relationship problem?
I would say a little bit more on the relationship bit. Because you're right, in delivery, you don't want to be out there just saying, I don't want to manage people. But it's funny that I'm actually a lot like you. I've never been, even though I'm in HR, but I've never been one to really enjoy the managing other people directly working for me. And I find that the way that it has worked out best for me, I can fully avoid it, but the way that it worked out best for me is that I've always let the leaders I'm working with know where my strengths lie, my core strengths, and to actually go a step further and say, I want to make sure that I'm working in my core strength rather than in the piece that I'm maybe not as good at, right? So it's always the letting people know what you want, how you want it, not avoiding it entirely when it does come to you, because again, you may not be able to fully avoid it. And also, Bianca, it's happened so many times that I've seen people think they don't want to do something, and then they find that they pleasantly enjoy it when they get there. So just keep in the back of your mind too that let me at least try it. I shouldn't shy away from it, because you never know what you might be the next thing that you fall in love with.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I only say that because it goes kind of back to when we think about what is our current mission. So right now, my current mission, like I mentioned, I was in management consulting, but I have a young son. So my current mission at the time was, being a part of his early development. But now he's about to enter kindergarten. He's a little more independent, right? But I still want to make sure that I'm investing my time wisely. So that's why I mentioned not a fear necessarily, but wanting to make sure that my investments are proper and that I'm able to commit to those things,
Bianca, when you're kind of crafting your brand words and then your brand story, I would advise you to maybe do kind of an on the side bit to it, that maybe it's not the part that you're going to be saying out loud to other people, but it's using it more as an affirmation for yourself, so that when you are again, clearly articulating to others around you, you're not feeling that inside guilt about, oh, but I should be doing this a little bit more at home, or you want to be unapologetic about that energy. When you put it also as part of the story you're branding, you're crafting for yourself, again, even if you don't say it out loud, you need to be okay with it and unapologetic about it and feeling confident about it. And then you let the other stuff just happen, just come along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially for, again, if any other women on the call, please be confident, be unapologetic about what you want out there.
Absolutely. I guess that maybe ties to another question, Dama, that I would like to ask you. Again, it seems like brand is not constant in our life. We grow, and our brand changes by time. How do you shift brands? How do you adjust brands to that stage? Again, like Bianca just mentioned, she was in consulting, now she's a mother. So how do you adjust again your brand to suit your phase?
Yeah, if you're strong in your self-awareness, you will notice when things start shifting for you, and your brand is not necessarily going to it will shift across your career, right, in different phases of your career, but it'll never shift from like, I'm just an IT person right now, and now all of a sudden I'm gonna go into, I don't know, banking, something completely random, right? You're never going to be like a complete opposite or a complete, big jump from where you are. It'll come slowly, and it'll come maybe with like, you may not even notice it while it's happening, but like if you make a point to like once a year or once every other year to sit down with your brand story, you'll notice things that are shifting. Oh, you know what? Maybe I did try a people management role and I like it. So I'm going to maybe go a little bit more into there. Maybe I notice that I don't like it and I want to take a little bit away from it. So just being that, having that self, the investing in myself, really sitting and thinking about just me and working it out, not just in your head, work it out on a piece of paper, actually do something with it. You're always going to notice when a shift happens, but if you want to do it again a little bit more systematically, do it like a once a year or once every other year exercise.
That's a good point. Again, to be honest, I think writing it down makes it more clear, because so many people keeps it in their head, and then unfortunately it becomes very not clear even to themselves. When I write it down, then I think about it more, and that's a good way of visualizing
it's that part we were saying about a little bit earlier, Ahmed, that the processing in your brain happens in different parts of your brain when you're just thinking about it versus when you put it down on a piece of paper or someone says it out loud to you or you have a conversation about it. Do you ever notice, again, that's why like if you have a friend that's always talking to you about these kinds of things, you feel better when you talk to that friend. It's because the processing happens differently. They may not necessarily have given you like the golden bullet on it, but just simply the act of talking to someone about something makes you process it in a different place in your head, which gives you better tools and it removes some of those barriers, etc. But if you're just thinking silently in your head about it, it's only going to go that far.
I love it. So again, guys, you got the questions from Lama today. Write it down, start your own brand, take this into action. Otherwise, this call will go away and you will forget, and then nothing will happen. Then that's not a good thing. So take this call into action immediately, because that's how we grow. That's how you really up level your brand, up level your skills, up level your reputation in LinkedIn or in your community. Awesome. We're coming very short on time, and I don't see more questions. But this is amazing. I love what you just shared, Lama. Definitely lots to take away and lots to continue learning from, and excited about the branding topic. Always, it's always a good thing to build a brand and then use that brand to land jobs. Do you want to share any final words before we wrap it up? We normally take a group selfie.
Again, thank you all for having me, and Ahmed specifically about this topic. I intentionally left it simple enough so that you guys can just take away, instead of taking away 7 things, if you only just do 2, you're already ahead. You don't need to do all 7. So that's why I just kept it, simple for you all. Just do the 1 or 2 action items that you've written, from answering the questions, and keep it simple. That's where you start. You don't have to get the perfect personal brand the first time you do it. Just get 1 action rolled and starting to roll the ball, and then you'll find the next thing comes, and you're going to continue evolving it and expanding it to be even better.
Amazing. So it's time for the group selfie. If you guys want to be celebrity for this call, you want to come on camera and be ready for this group selfie. So I'll make this view here, gallery, so that everybody can be in camera and we can take this group selfie. And then if there is any more questions, we can maybe stay for 1 or 2 minutes or 5 minutes max. But if not, then we'll leave it there and we'll keep on giving everybody back their Sunday and enjoy the weekend and the long weekend. Even Thanksgiving is here in Canada. I know it's in Thanksgiving in the US in November, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's celebrating here in Canada. Okay, so it seems like we have short crowd today. Anyone else want to join before we take the selfie? So I'll say 1, 2, 3 and smile. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and smile. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lama. This was amazing discussion on branding. We loved your wisdom. We loved your insights and your actions. We'll keep going every Sunday. Join us again next Sunday, 11 a.m., the same link. And we also do now Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join it, it's just Q&A. There is no speakers. It's just mostly answering questions. Lama, you're welcome to join us also on Tuesday, 5 p.m. If you want to, contribute to this community, we'll be happy to have you again. Thank you so much. I'll let you, wrap it up, and we'll leave it there.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of Sunday. Take care. Bye.